The biggest mistake that I've made practicing NoFap is not learning how to transmute my S3X energy, not learning how to deal with those urges. When I decided I wanted to quit adult content, and the reason I decided, everybody decides for different reasons. Whatever reason you're deciding, I decided for spiritual reasons. I didn't want that in my consciousness. I didn't want to view that anymore. I wanted to have a great relationship, a real relationship with my wife that's full of great S3X energy and passion, but I didn't want to be expressing it on, watching. I felt like it was a waste of time, truthfully. And then I got inspired by a lot of like yogis and spiritualists and, people who are like living life, they're bettering themselves and the quality and character of their person. I'm really inspired by men like that. And so I was inspired by that. So I practiced NoFap, except it didn't really work because I kept going back to adult content, or I kept just wanting to rub one out because I didn't know how to deal with those urges. So in this video, I'm going to talk about why you want to deal with those urges, my own experience of that, and some of the things that helped me. Let's get into it. Hi, my name is Nakula, and I help men master their S3X energy so you could become a powerhouse both in and outside the bedroom. I've helped hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of men quit adult content. I'm very proud of that. We've trained over 2,000 men over the last 3.5 years to use the practices of alchemy to deal with those urges and transmute their S3X energy into a force for good and development and leadership. In the book Think and Grow Rich, which I was highly inspired by and still am, in the teachings of Napoleon Hill, specifically chapter 11 talks about the secrets of S3X transmutation, that this energy is our basic driving force and can be expressed in many different ways. One way it can be expressed is physically. You can have babies, you can have S3X, you can chase women, you can watch porn. See, it's being expressed in a physical way. Now, the second way it can be expressed is in vibrant health, meaning when it's kept within you and circulated, it actually gives you vibrant health. It's your life force, it's your energy. And the third way is faith, belief, or riches. In his context, he talked about the accumulation of riches because he wanted to empower people of his time. He wrote that book in the time where there was a great recession. It was right after the Great Recession. Now we're going through a very similar time right now, just about 100 years later. And these teachings and these practices are more relevant now than ever before, especially because we live in an age of hyper technology and hyper gratification. Every fantasy we can watch within 30 seconds. We can access so much. So if we don't have power over our own mind, we're going to fall into things that we don't want to be involved with. And that's what happened to me. I'm like, I don't want to be watching other people have supposedly great S3X, which I've gotten so much education around the subject that I'm like, I recognize, that I can't even watch it anymore because I'm like, they're not having S3X. They're actors. It's a whole fantasy. I want something real. And so the biggest mistake that I made was that I didn't know what to do. I just tried to go cold turkey. Like I just tried to be like, okay, I call it white knuckling it, where you're just like, okay, I'm just not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. The challenge is it kept building. And my mind was filled with all of these lusty thoughts, all of the porn that I've watched and all of the fantasies and, this and that and all kind of, I want to try this, I want to do that. And you're doing this whole kind of like mental masturbation about it that eventually, remember, wherever the mind is, the body goes. So if you think about something long enough with enough desire, you're eventually going to act on it. That's how it goes. You won't be able to stop it. That's why you have to be careful. What am I putting my desire into? Do I really want that? You have to be very conscious. You're very powerful. And we mistake how powerful we are, how powerful your mind is. So I would allow my imagination to run into all of these scenarios, which would eventually then leave me wanting to watch those scenarios. And therefore, there I am back on the screen, watching that scenario, seeing it play out. So to transform that, because I relapsed so many times and I was starting to get really pissed off, and I was like, well, this isn't working. There's got to be something better. And all I was getting from the traditional religious perspectives was that it's just sin, it's bad, don't think of it, just chant this mantra or pray. And I'm like, well, I'm doing all those things. I chant more mantras than most people, I was practicing. I was doing this, doing that, doing all kinds of stuff, and it still wasn't going away. I'm like, well, I don't get this. And that's when I ran into the concept of alchemizing it, not suppressing it, but developing a healthy relationship in which you can express it in that way Napoleon Hill talked about, in a way of absolute faith and belief. And that can be used to have faith in God, or faith in your ability to become wealthy and financially free, or your faith in your ability to, make social change, be a leader in the world, contribute something big, or to develop your family and be the best father, be the best businessman, be the best, whatever you want to be the best at. It'll drive you to be the best version of yourself. That's why we want to practice NoFap, because what we really want is not to fap, not to fap. What we really want, and that's what you got to get clear, is it that I really don't want to fap? No. Is it that I really don't want to watch adult content? No, truthfully. But what I want more than that is to have real success in my life. I don't want to just watch a bunch of porn stars have great S3X and make a bunch of money. I want to have great S3X, and I want my bank account filled. So you have to get clear on what is it that I do want. And that's another huge mistake that's made. It's all tied up. It's like, because I was so focused on what I don't want, I kept thinking about what I don't want, and it kept making me go after the things that I don't want, and then feeling guilty because I'm like, I don't want to be doing this. It's crazy, right? That's a loop of craziness, insanity. Keep doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. So after learning the practices of alchemy, going deeper into my own breath work, learning to control my thoughts by controlling my breath, learning to control my body, my ability to ejaculate or not by controlling my mind and my breath and my muscle. It's like, holy smokes. Then I started using that in my business. Man, I'm going to just get super focused. I'm going to get super focused on creating finances for myself and my family and, our team here. We've got a team, we've got a business that's growing. That's because we've put all of our energy into it. And we continue to do that, getting better at the channel, making better videos for you, expanding the amount of people that we're hitting. And we've got this great plan, by the way, for the guys who've been following me for some time, or if you're new to the channel, I appreciate you being here. We've got so many plans to just enhance what we're doing. Our programs are enhancing, and this channel is going to enhance in the type of videos and quality of videos over the next, 6 months to a year, 2 years. We have a big vision. It's going to take a lot of time, a lot of energy, but we're having a lot of fun. And we invite you to be part of it. So make sure you reach out and connect if you're like, man, I want to be part of this. I want to be part of the Powerhouse Man movement, the movement in which is leading the transformation and the sexual revolution that's happening right now on the planet back to a healthy expression. And what is that revolution? It's the middle path between the religious narrative of complete abstinence, which most of us will not do or take on, but will feel guilty if you're in a religious or spiritual setting. You'll feel guilty if you can't doing it. And that guilt, that shame, that regret, that's even worse than the action itself of how it plays in your life. So what do those guys do? Well, like me, you try to repress it, suppress it, try to conquer it, but it ends up coming out in other nasty ways. So the process of alchemy helped me deal with it. Now I'm porn free. I don't even desire it. I don't even like it. What I like is to be with my wife. That feels right. That sits okay with me. I don't feel guilty about that. I don't feel anything wrong about that. It's just about getting clear about what's in my consciousness, what's right for me. The biggest mistake was just trying to white knuckle it. I don't recommend it. It generally brings out the worst in you. It could bring out your lust. It could bring out your anger. A lot of guys come to me say, man, Nakula, I'm angry. I'm frustrated. If I don't bust a nut, I'm going to punch a wall. Or next thing you know, you're just spending all day looking at, IG women or something like that, bikinis. Any woman who does this online, some sort of gyrating motion. Like if you ever watch The Mask, his eyes pop out, his tongue's like, I know, I'm like that too. I'm a dog. I said to my wife just yesterday, I said, we're going to be 15 years together soon, and we've been through all kinds of stuff. And I said, I'm still just a dog though at the end of it. And it's okay. It's like, be okay with that, but evolve. That's why we practice NoFap. That's why we practice semen retention, is to evolve. So don't just try to suppress your energy. It's a big mistake. At least it was for me. And look how many priests and monks and so-called holy men have, done some of the worst shit on the planet when it comes to S3X and misconduct of S3X, because they're suppressing it the most. But it's also not to feed it. It's finding that healthy expression. Anyways, I'm really grateful in my life that I've done that. I think it's been so peaceful. It's so nice to be like cool and be accepting of where you're at and just be like, this is where I'm at. I ain't no monk. I'm not a holy man. I'm not trying to pretend to be, but I'm also not like degenerate, I got some values, All right, guys, think about it. Or if you're ready to take action, don't think about it. Go book some time on my schedule. Make sure you leave comments, ask questions. I try to get to everybody. We're growing, but I've got a team that's helping me out. So make sure you ask questions. We get inspired by your questions. We take those questions and we make content. So it's like getting free coaching, free training. You got some specific questions. You got some things that you want me to talk about. Let me know. Leave it in the comments. Make sure you subscribe. Hit the bell so you never miss a video. I'll see you on the next video. Peace.